Bonjour! One of the first things to do when wanting to become a makeup artist is to build a kit to make sure that you have all of the essential products that you need to do just a basic makeup on everyone. As you probably know, makeup can be very expensive, so building a full kit at the beginning is the big investment that you have to make. I try to curate a starter kit with affordable products that you can find at the drugstore, and I truly love these products because even after being a makeup artist for multiple years, I still have some of them currently in my kit. You don't have to buy all of these things at once, you can buy them little by little because that's a lot of money, but you will need all of these products at some point. A makeup artist kit is not only makeup. For example, the first thing that I lay down on my table is a silicone mat. A lot of people used to use towels, especially white towels. That's what I had when I was in makeup school, and I would not recommend it at all. It's just so much easier to have a silicone mat because it's so much easier to clean and to sanitize after each job and between clients. This one is actually a cooking mat that I found on Amazon. I've had it for a couple of years now and I really like using it. It just looks neat and clean. Another very essential thing is the makeup bag to put all of your products in. These types of bags are very popular. Most makeup artists that I know have one of these bags. There is different sizes. When I started out, I think I got the medium one, which was perfectly fine for the first year or two, and I switched more recently to the XL size, which is a lot bigger. Getting one of these bags is probably the most practical and affordable thing to do instead of getting different smaller pouches. When you have one of these bags, everything is at one place, it's right in front of your eyes, so it's a lot easier to stay organized as well. And you can actually organize your products in the way that you want because you can move the little foam dividers, and these bags actually hold a lot of products, especially if you depot some of them. They can hold an entire makeup collection. I will put all of the products that I'm mentioning today in the description box, and some of the links are affiliate, so thank you so much if you decide to shop through these links. It's a great way to support my channel. Then you're going to need some brushes, and I would hands down recommend you to get the ones from Real Techniques. They are actually my #1 favorite brand of brushes still up to these days because they're super affordable and the quality is great. I've had some of their brushes in my kit for multiple years now and I use them constantly. They don't shed and they're still super soft. I would recommend you to start by getting one of their sets with brushes for the face. So there is 4 different brushes and a sponge, and it's being sold for 23 Canadian dollars. So it's really a steal. You can't find better brushes than that for this price. I would also recommend you to get one of their sets for the eyes. It's all of the different brushes that you need to do a classic eye look, and it's only being sold for $20. And on top of that, I would also tell you to get maybe a couple of the setting brushes, which is actually my #1 favorite brush. I use it for everything, for foundation, for powder, for blush, for bronzer. Everything. The size is just perfect. If you want more details about makeup brushes, because I know it can be a tricky subject sometimes, I've actually made a full video a couple of weeks ago on all of the different brands that I've tried in the past, and I'm talking about brands like Morphe, Zoeva, Delium. So hopefully it can also help you to make a decision on what brand of makeup brushes you want to try. After that, you're going to need a brush holder. I actually found one that's very affordable. It's $15 and it looks great, very practical, simple, easy to clean. It's actually very similar to a Makeup Forever brush holder that I used to have a few years ago, and the price was a lot more expensive than that, so this one is actually a really great dupe. Now we can move on to actual products to put in your kit, and you're going to need a few skincare products, only the very basics because you're just starting out. I would recommend you to get a micellar water, a waterproof eye makeup remover, a regular hydrating moisturizer, and you also need to have a lip balm. You can find all of that at the drugstore, no need to get any fancy brands. Sometimes simple is better. And if you can try to find options that are fragrance free, it's always good because a lot of people can be sensitive to fragrance in products. Now let's talk about foundations. If there is one product that I think you should invest a little bit more money on, is foundations, because it's the base of your makeup. And if your base doesn't look good, no matter what you're applying on top of that, it's not gonna look good either. So having a good foundation is, for me, very important. My favorite foundation is the one from Face Atelier. It's medium price range. One bottle of foundation is 38 Canadian dollars. I know that they have pro discount, and I believe they have a student discount as well. I love it. I think it's a beautiful foundation. That's the one that I use on, let's say, 80% of my jobs. It's very popular. A lot of makeup artists have it in their kit, but it's also very easy to use. So if you're just starting out, I'm sure it will work for you. It has a medium coverage and satin finish, which is exactly what you should be looking for if you want to add your first foundation in your kit. You can sheer it out if you want it to be more transparent, but you can also build it up to achieve a full coverage if you want to. It's a little bit more expensive, so if you can afford it, I would recommend you to go with this one. But if you want something that's a bit more affordable, I heard that the Fit Me from Maybelline is a really great option as well. Once again, medium coverage and a hydrating satin finish. And you can also just go in store, swatch the different foundations on your arms, see what textures you like best. The only thing I wouldn't recommend to get as a first foundation is matte finish, because you can turn a satin or glowy foundation to a matte finish by applying powder, but it's really hard to do the opposite. Like going from matte to glowy is like almost impossible to do. And I would also try to avoid anything that's too full coverage, because it's really hard to work with full coverage and to make it look good. So I think a medium coverage is more beginner friendly, and I would recommend you to get 4-6 shades if possible. Always get the lightest one and the darkest one, and then a few different shades in the middle. You should try to get some with cool and warm undertones, so you can have the best color match, and then you can always mix them together to have all the shades in between that you're missing. For concealers, my favorite one at the drugstore is the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect. It's $15 and it's a full coverage concealer, but it doesn't look cakey or too heavy. It has a pretty natural finish. For concealers, I would say that it's better to go with full coverage right away, because it's a lot easier just to sheer it out or to only apply a really thin layer of concealer than having to build it. And I would get a minimum of 4 concealer shades, again from the lightest to the darkest. Get 6 if possible. And there is something that I want to mention super quickly, is that if you want to become a makeup artist, you have to make sure that you have products for all the different skin tones, from the lightest to the darkest. No matter who is sitting in your chair or you're doing makeup on, you should have products to match their skin tone, so either by mixing or to already have the product in your kit. And you should also learn and practice how to do makeup on all the different skin tones, because the techniques can be very different. And if you want to become a pro makeup artist, that's something that you're expected to know how to do. For setting powders, you can either go with loose powders or for pressed powders. Either way, there is one powder that I would recommend you to get, is the one from RCMA. It's a pro brand that's very popular in makeup artist kits, and why I would recommend you to get that one powder in specific, it's because it's translucent, so it goes on most light to medium skin tones. It doesn't work really well on darker skin tones, but medium to light, it's perfect. It has such a fine texture, you cannot see it on the skin, and the value is actually incredible, because for the loose one you get 85 grams, which is a lot. Like, it's going to last you for almost a lifetime, and it's only 19 Canadian dollars, so it's really cheap. If your plan is to work in film or on whatever set, I would really recommend you to go with pressed powders instead of loose powder, because loose powder can be very messy and you don't want to have any fallout on your actor's clothes. And pressed powders are just so much easier to carry around in your set bag. You should also get some regular pressed powders that have a little bit of pigmentation. And for that, I like the one from NYX that's called No Filter Finishing Powder. It's lightweight, it mattifies, but without looking too like dull or flat, it still has a sort of natural shine. Once again, you just want to avoid any powder that's too thick and too mattifying. And I would suggest to get maybe 4 shades of powders. I think to begin with it's fine. Lightest, darkest, and then a couple in the middle. That should cover everything that you need at the beginning because they have a very, very light pigmentation. And then for the face, I found these palettes from Morphe. So I'm not usually a fan of Morphe, but I understand that when you're starting out and you're on a tight budget, it's a great brand to begin with. So they have these face palettes that are sold for $37, and they have everything that you need for the face. They have bronzer, highlighter, contour, blush. Getting palettes that have multiple products like that is always more economical than getting individual products. So when you're starting out, palettes are really the go-to. There is 8 different shades for this palette, and by getting the lightest one, which is 8F, and then the second to darkest one, which is the 8R, I think it would cover pretty much everything that you need, because in the end it's only powder products, so you can use a light bronzer shade as a setting powder for someone, and then a darker setting powder for contouring someone that has a fair skin, so you can really play around with that. You can also add a third palette that would be more in the medium tone if you can afford it, obviously. If not, I think with these two, you should be good. For eyeshadows, there is tons of affordable brands that offer good quality eyeshadow palettes. Morphe is one of them. I saw the palette that's called Truth or Bare, and it's sold for $25. It's only neutral tones, which is what you need at the beginning because it's the base of any eye makeup, and it has both matte and shimmery eyeshadows. I would start with something like that, and then you can add more shades depending on what style of makeup you like doing. Alright, so now for everything that's liners, I love the brand NYX. I think they are great products for a very affordable price, and I have a lot of NYX in my kit. I especially love their Epic liners for the eyes. They are only $12 and they are super pigmented and very creamy, so it makes the application super easy. You should definitely get a black one to begin with, and eventually a dark brown if you can. For liquid liners, so you're actually gonna have to find a gel liner that comes in a pot, because that's the only way we can apply liner in a sanitary way. Just as a reminder, you cannot use products directly on a client's face, so anything that's like a felt tip eyeliner or like a liner that has a little brush in the end, you can't use it on a client's face because these would just transfer the bacteria from one person to the other. So that's why using a gel liner that comes in a pot, you can just scoop out a little bit of product and then work from there. For pot liners, the one from Maybelline that's called Eye Studio Lasting Drama is only $15, and it's very pigmented, it's creamy. It's not the most long-lasting eyeliner, obviously, but I think for an affordable option, it's good. And for mascaras, it's actually the 2 ones that I currently have in my kit. I don't believe in buying expensive mascara to put in pro makeup kits because, as I was saying, we cannot use the mascara directly on our client's eyes. We have to use a disposable applicator. So you just need to find a mascara that has a good formula. And I think there's plenty at the drugstore. One of my favorite ones that I buy over and over again for my kit is the L'Oreal Volumious Carbon Black. It's super black, very pigmented, great formula. They also have a deep brown option that is beautiful if you want a softer makeup or if you have someone that's like very blonde, for example, because sometimes using a black mascara can look a little bit too intense. You're also going to need a waterproof mascara, and the one that I use constantly is the one from Essence. It's $5.99, and again, it's just a simple, great, affordable mascara. Since we just talked about disposable tools, that's something that you should get right at the beginning when you start doing makeup applications. Even if you're only doing it on your friends or on your family, you don't want to risk to give them a pink eye or like something bad on their face. So just get some disposable tools. It's only about like $5 and you get like 30, 50 of them. So I would tell you to get the mascara ones and also the lip ones. And you're also going to need a metal spatula to scoop out some of the products and start your sanitary application. You always need a metal spatula for so many different things, so you should just get a couple at the beginning. I'll put these links in the description box as well with the rest of all the products. You're most likely going to want to apply lashes as well, so for that you need a good lash glue. The one that I like using is the one from Velour Lashes. It's a little bit more expensive than your regular lash glue. The Velour one is $16, so it's still pretty affordable. That's why I'm mentioning it today. Why I would pick this one over just a cheap lash glue is because I think that lash application is one of the most challenging things to do when you're just starting to do makeup. The one from Velour dries down pretty quickly, which is very helpful when you're doing a lash application, because sometimes when the glue is not good quality, it takes so long to dry, so the lash is just like moving everywhere and then it's lifting and then you have to hold it for like 20 seconds. When the Velour Lashes one, in 5 seconds it's dry, you just put the lash on the eye and that's it, it's glued on. So if you can, I would tell you to go with this one because it's still pretty affordable and it's really going to help you. Now for the lashes, the ones that you usually find at the drugstore are either Kiss or from Ardell, which I love them. I have them in my kit, but I don't think they're really affordable because they end up being like $4 or $5 for one pair of lashes, which is a lot of money, especially if you don't get paid to do a makeup, right? Like I'm using these brands, but my clients are paying me, so it's fine in the end. But if you're just beginning and you want to practice your lash application, you can go on AliExpress. They have a lot of great ones that are around $1 a pair, so it's a big difference. And you can just pick whatever style you like. I would recommend you to go for the most natural styles because they are the ones that are the most popular ones, like that's what usually clients want. And try maybe to find lashes that have a clear band instead of a black one, because it's a little bit more forgivable if your lash is a little bit crooked. With a clear band, usually you can get away with it. With a black one, it's a lot harder to hide. Same thing for the lash glue, always get a clear one because black ones are a lot harder to use and a lot messier. Now for the brows, it comes down to personal preferences. I would recommend someone that's starting out to get powders to fill in the eyebrows because it's a lot softer, but I didn't find anything that was affordable. I didn't find, like the palettes that I found are pretty expensive and single ones as well. Instead, I would say to go with brow pencils, and the ones that I like are the one from NYX that are called micro brow pencils. I was actually surprised to see how brow products are very expensive compared to other products, but these brow pencils are great because the tip is really fine, so you can really do a detailed work. Maybe get 3 shades to begin with, like a blonde shade, a medium brown and a deep brown. And you should also get a clear brow gel like the one from e.l.f. that's only $8.50. It comes in a pot, so we can use it in a sanitary way with a disposable mascara wand. And it's actually a dupe for the brow freeze from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now for the lips, I love the lip liners from NYX. They are great and super affordable. They are only $8 and I have so many of them in my kit. I would say to get at least 4 of them. So you have a nude for fair skin tone, a nude for medium skin tones, and a nude for dark ones. And you should also get maybe a more vibrant color, like a red, a classic red. It's always good to have. I think for the price it's a great product. They have a good pigmentation, they are not too dry on the lips, and they are long lasting. And now for lipsticks, we are lucky to have many affordable options. So it's whatever brand you like. I like e.l.f., I like Milani, I like NYX, but there is tons of different options. I would say to get a few shades that have a satin finish, so something that's a little bit more sheer and glowy, and then get a few ones that are more vibrant and pigmented. Something else that you can add is a lip stain if you want a matte, very long lasting option in your kit. And then for the shades, you should get some that would be matching with your lip liners. So maybe 3 different shades of neutral for different skin tones, and then a couple more colorful shades. It comes down to whatever your preference is. Alright, I think if you have most of these things, you should be able to do a few different makeup looks and start practicing your skills. And then you can start adding more things little by little. Building a kit is an eternal journey. Even after being a makeup artist for multiple years, there is always something that I need to add to my kit. So if you're missing a few things, it's fine. Just start practicing with what you have. There are some products that I did not include in this video on purpose because I don't think you need them right away. Things like primers, like gloss, eyeshadow base. You will need them at some point, but I don't think it's a top priority. There is many other essential things that you will need in your kit. So if I see that you're enjoying this video, I might make a part 2. So make sure to give it a lot of love. Leave a comment, like the video so I know if I should make a second part or not. Thank you so much for spending this little moment with me. I really hope it was helpful and that you enjoyed watching it. I have tons of videos on my channel about my makeup artist career, my makeup kit, depotting some products, so I'll put a video here for you to watch next if you want to hang out for a little bit longer. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon. Bisous!